Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's broadcast. We're going to be presenting what's new FD06 for ENOVIA. But before we get started, I just want to introduce myself, Matthew Card, and our team. We have Naeem, Rick, Anat, and Amal. And I'm just going to show you a quick couple administrative things. If you click on the link in the description of this video, you'll go to our post in the user community. And that's where we would like you to ask your questions today. Let me show you the post. It'll look like this. As you scroll through the post, you'll be able to get information about our speakers by clicking on their picture. You can check out their profile and read about their experience and even some of their hobbies if you really want. You can also join our newsletter here. And be sure to check out the replays of past webinars below. We store all the replays here in the community, so there's a great wealth of knowledge. So throughout the webinar, feel free to jump in here, and in the comment section, just add your question here. We will be answering live at the end. So we look forward to interacting with you. All right, without further ado, I'm going to pass the ball to our leader, Naeem, and we'll get started.
Hi, everyone. This is Naeem speaking here. I am the ENOVIA Portfolio Marketing Manager. Today with me, we have Amal, Anat, and Rick. And together, we are going to take you deep dive into the new enhancements of 21x FD06. So that will include some slides through presentations and also showing these new enhancements in some videos that we have predefined so you can better understand what are these new enhancements. And eventually, if you have any question, as Matthew mentioned, please type them down in the community and we will answer them at the end of this session. So let's go. Welcome to the ENOVIA R21x FD06 new enhancements. In this session, we're going to review the new enhancements on the cloud and on-premise. And today I have with me Anat, Amol, and Rick from the ENOVIA Portfolio Marketing team, and we're going to review all these amazing enhancements in this release. First, let's start by this list. These are the roles that we're going to review with you today, where we have enhanced their functionality. We have also existing roles that have been enhanced to be available on the cloud, and we see here IP controlled access and IP security manager. So these roles that used to be only available on premise, now they're also available on the cloud. And we are introducing from this release two new roles in the sourcing domain, that is the component request engineer and the supplier item manager. If you remember, this is the portfolio, the ENOVIA portfolio themes and the disciplines. We have added here a new theme, which is the global sourcing and value network, which has two disciplines, strategic sourcing and the supply network, and component sourcing and standardization. So the two roles that I have introduced earlier are in fact in the discipline of component sourcing and standardization, and we're going to review them later on during this session. So let's start by focusing on the new enhancements in the collaborative industry innovation, or the role a collaborative industry innovator, CSV.
Well, let's start with the first enhancement of the CSV role. This particular enhancement is applicable for the Change Action app inside the 3D Experience CATIA native client. So what you can achieve is you can simply cross-highlight the content of the change action into the product structure tree. In this way, you can enhance the productivity by quickly identifying the objects of the change action in the tree structure of the product. So what you can see in the image also is on the left hand side there is a change action for which the proposed changes are selected, and those particular objects are highlighted on the right hand side in the tree structure. In this way, you can not only identify the proposed changes but also the realized changes from the change action. Let's see a quick demo about this. So we have the change action on the left hand side in CATIA. I select the three objects which are the proposed changes, and those are highlighted on the right hand side. Again, when I switch to the realized changes, I can multi-select two items, and those are particularly highlighted on the right hand side in the product structure tree. Let's see the next enhancement, which is basically related to the 3D markup app. So here what you can do is you can now review the subcomponents inside the FL diagrams. In this way, it will enhance the productivity by allowing you for the detailed navigation inside the FL diagrams. So you basically, if you can see in the image, we have opened a layout where you can see there are different sheets, and you can see the information of the particular views or sheets or layouts. You can select these individual items using the level selector. It will allow you to navigate through the rules, and you can, on the right hand side, you can see the properties or information of these items. Let it be views or sheets or layouts. Then it is also possible to drag and drop different types of symbols, which are the logical symbols, and it will allow you to create the picture markers inside the 3D markup app. So let's see a quick video about this. Here we are opening the layout, which is already available. Now we can see already there are three sheets in the layout. So let's try to create a markup on this layout first. Then in this sheet 2, we have created a slide. Now coming to the enhancement, that we can see on the right hand side the information about the item that we have selected. Currently it is the view item. So we see the PLM view reference and also the PLM view instance for that particular view. Again, we can navigate using the level selector. So here I see that I can switch to sheets, or I can also switch to the layouts. For now, let's click on the sheet, and on the right hand side the information panel gets updated, and I see the properties of PLM sheet instance and PLM sheet reference. Also, I can drag and drop. For example, I want to search for the logical symbol for pipe. Now I can filter from the 6W tags, and I get to the exact logical symbol for the pipe, and I can simply drag and drop it into the 3D markup, and that will create immediately a picture marker for me, and that will be saved inside the slide. So that's a quick enhancement in the 3D markup. Coming to the next enhancement, this is also in the same app, which is 3D markup, and now you can measure the elements inside the drawing. This will of course enhance the review process by measuring the different 2D elements inside the drawing, which was not possible till now. So this is possible for both the drawing format, whether it is a DXF drawing or a DWG drawing. You can always create these measurements inside the drawing. So let's see a quick video for this. Let me open the drawing for the bucket. So this is my drawing. Let me zoom in to the front view, and I see there are few measurements already present in the drawing itself. Now I'm creating the markup, and inside the slide I can measure the elements of the 2D drawing. Suppose I want to measure the diameter for this particular circle. I can measure this. I can also measure some length. For example, I want to select this particular line, and I want to measure the length. I can measure it. Not only that, I can also measure the length of an arc. So let's select this arc, and here I can switch to the arc length. option, and that will show me the length of the arc. So in this way, you can actually do the measurements inside the 2D drawings in the 3D markup. The next enhancement is about the document management app. Basically, there are different set of actions which are now consistently available across a set of different applications. Okay, so for example, the actions are the preview or edit or undo edit or update. So these are the actions available on the document, and whether this document is available in any other app other than document management, the commands or the actions available will be the same. So you can launch these commands or these actions from either from 3D search or from bookmark editor, issue management, or also route management for that matter. Let's see this enhancement in a video. So I can right click and start editing the document from the document management widget. If I want to do some addition, I can just update the document and save it back into the 3D experience platform with some predefined command, and the document is saved back into the platform with the updated file version of it. And now this was the command available in the document management. Now we can observe the same command is also available on the document from the bookmark editor. So here I can also start editing the document from the bookmark editor. Also there are other commands like undo edit. So I can cancel the edition process of the document. If I switch to the issue management app, you might be knowing that issue management, any issue can have the attachment documents. So from here, I can quickly launch the edit, undo edit, or update commands. If I want to update the existing document with a particular file on my local desktop, I can upload that file in that particular document, and that document will get updated. So I don't need to leave that particular app. For example, now I am in route management app. From the content tab, I can quickly select the document and start editing or start updating the document. I can also do the cancel edit. So in this way, I cannot, there is no need to leave the application to perform the similar actions to edit or cancel edit or update a particular document. Coming to the next enhancement, which is model version compare. This enhancement is basically available in model definition and also in the compare widget, which is part of the CSV role. This will basically improve the accuracy of the model because we are comparing different model versions with each other. So what the product managers can do is they can simply open a particular model version and start comparing it with the other model versions by using the same compare command which is existing in the CSV role. So what they can achieve is they can visualize the differences between the variant values, and also they can identify if there are some variants which are missing in particular model version. Let's see a quick video about this. So right now I'm opening one model version on the left hand side and the another version for the same model on the right hand side, and I can start comparing them. So in the compare widget, I can see on the right hand side there are some values for the variants which are only specifically available for only one model version on the right, and these values are missing on the left hand side. And in this way, these are these values will be highlighted, as you can see, in the green color.
There is a new landing page, provides new options to collect the data to be used in compare. One of the options, for example, is to open filtered content. Moreover, once you already have the object loaded in compare, you can use the new context menu to change it. So for example, you can replace it with another revision or apply a filter and much more. You don't need, as before, to go and do another search and load the object from scratch. By the way, once applying filter, you can either apply a saved filter or you can create a temporary one. Here I'm working in the Product Structure Explorer, and I select to apply a saved filter on the BIMI PCB assembly to display only resistors items. So I search for the filter and I apply it. And now I would like to compare this filtered PCB with another revision. So I simply drag and drop the root node to the compare landing page. And you can see there is an icon indicating that the loaded assembly is already filtered. On the right side, I select to open a revision of this BIMI assembly, in this case revision B. And in order to have a meaningful compare report, I would like to use the same filter as I applied on the previous revision. So I'm using the new context menu and I'm searching for the filter and I apply it also on the right side on revision B. Now I can run the compare and get the results. New attribute is now available when creating a new standard route template called start route on completion. In this attribute, you can define another existing route template, which will be used to create, generate, and start a new route, which will be started automatically when the current route based on this template is completed. So as you can see here, we have route 1, and when this route is completed, route 2 will be started automatically. So here I'm creating a new route template. I will give it a description. And because this is a standard route, I have this attribute, the new attribute available. I'm searching and selecting an existing route template to be added here to this new attribute. I will create the new route template, I will activate it, and now I can create a new route based on this template I've just created. To keep it simple, I have in this route only one activity. So when I will complete this activity, meaning I will complete the entire route, a new route will be created and started automatically. So we can see that route 101 is the new route that has just been created and started, and the previous one is completed. We have also a new find command in the context menu, available both in Product Structure Editor and in Product Structure Explorer. This new command is replacing a previous command called find in context, but not only the name has been changed, but also a little bit the behavior. So now when searching using this new find command, all nodes that match the search will be highlighted in yellow, and we are searching in all attributes of all objects. So here I'm using the new find command to search in the structure for all nodes contain dash in one of their attributes. And now I can use the navigation buttons to navigate through the matched nodes and highlighted them in the viewer.
We are going to review now the new enhancements in program and project management.
Let's start with the Project Planner XPP role, and I would remind you that this role is available on cloud only. Now in FD06, the duration of sub-projects is displayed as time bar in the schedule view, which makes it much more easier to understand the full project schedule. Previously, when creating a new milestone, the milestone suggested date was not fixed by default, and it was up to the user to decide if to fix it or not. Now, since FD06, the milestone suggested date is fixed by default, and there is no option for the user to change it in the milestone creation dialog, only later in the properties. Schedule view showing the Gantt chart is now available on mobile phones. Project Manager, DPM, some new enhancements in the project management application, as well as for the risk management widget. So there are many constraint types that can be defined for tasks, which specifies when the task is expected to be completed. We can see here some examples: as soon as possible, finish no later than, start no later than, and so on. Now, except as soon as possible and as late as possible, all other constraint types have constraint dates. Now, since FD06, when changing the project start date, all associated constraint dates are updated accordingly. So let's take a look on this example. We have here the project, and the start date is set to 3rd of May. I'm working in the planning view, and I'm changing the start date from the 3rd of May to the 10th of May. And upon save, you will notice that all tasks constraint dates are updated accordingly, were moved in a week. When adding new tasks to a project, there is an option to copy existing tasks from existing project. This is a nice and existing capability to do reuse. Now, in FD06, when we decide to copy existing tasks, there is a new option, use estimated dates from source, meaning you can decide if to copy also the task's dates. So if this option is selected, the source task start and end dates are kept after the copy. If this option is not selected, and by the way, this is the default, by default it's not selected, the task start and end dates will be based on the start date of the destination project, the project we are working on. So in this example, we have an empty project. Its start date is the 8th of April. And now I will add to this project some activities. I will copy existing tasks from existing project. So I'm selecting here the tasks I would like to copy. And I will choose to use and to copy also the task dates. You will now notice that the project start date has been changed, and now it is set to 10th of May, which is the same as the start date of the earlier task I copied. In Risk Management widget, we display all risks exist in the platform, but we can filter the view to display only risk associated to a particular project by putting the project name in the context field. Since FD06, we also can set a program as a context, and in this case we display all risks associated to all projects belong to that particular program. An additional enhancement, we extended the filter menu, and now it is possible to display also risks associated with sub-projects. So here we have a program, contains 2 projects, and first I will filter the view and set a project as a context. So I will see only risks associated to that particular project. Now I will set a program as the context, and the view will display all risks associated to all projects belong below this program. And you can note also that when setting a program as the context, the plus icon here to create a new risk is disabled because we cannot associate risk directly to a program, only to projects. Project Portfolio Manager, DPS. Here we introduce a new dashboard displaying all projects assessments sorted by the assessment categories, finance, resource, risk, and schedule, and color-coded per the evaluation values of the assessments, green, yellow, and red.
Let's have a look now at the new enhancements in the 3D product intelligence.
So coming to the next set of roles, which are from the digital mockup. The first role is a digital mockup review engineer, DRN. Another is the digital mockup validation engineer, which is DEY. And there are a couple of similar roles which are specifically designed for the high-tech industry. And the names are like device 3D synthesis review engineer, DMREH, and the device 3D synthesis validation engineer, which is DMVEH. We have combined these roles because the enhancement that we are going to see is common for all these roles. Let's see what we have. Basically, you can create a picture marker by using a simple drag and drop operation. Irrespective of whether the image is located inside a bookmark or inside a classification or anywhere inside the 3D experience platform for that matter, you can simply select that image and drag and drop into the design review so that it will create a picture marker. Let's see this enhancement in action. I have the simple video. On the right hand side, you can see there is a BME device review object which has a couple of slides. Let's go to the slide 2. And on the left hand side, I have the bookmark structure where I have the image, and I can simply drag and drop on the right hand side and it will create a picture marker for that particular image. So not only this, I can also drag and drop images from the search results. So let's minimize the 3D experience CATIA, and on the left hand side I have the web browser and I'm searching the objects from the web browser and selecting one of the images from the 3D search results and dragging and dropping on the right hand side into CATIA. So I have created the picture marker for this, and of course I can save it back to the 3D experience platform. Coming to the next set of roles, which is digital mockup review manager, RED, and another similar role which is specifically for the high-tech industry, which is device 3D synthesis review manager, DMREH. And here we have the enhancement for the app called 3D annotation insight. There will be enhanced visualization and responsiveness when you see the annotations inside the mobile devices. So basically when you open the annotations and all the content inside the mobile device, you will have a more smoother experience. You can switch between the panels and it will have a nice user experience. Let's see how does it look like inside mobile. So here I have the CATIA 3D annotation insight app opened inside my mobile device. So I can simply navigate. It is smoother than previous, and I can select any annotation or tolerance, and I can see that the respective 3D is highlighted. I can launch the filter panel to filter the annotations. I can also launch the view panel to switch between the different views. So this entire experience is smoothened enough so that you can seamlessly navigate inside the mobile. And that's all about this role.
Let's review now the enhancements in the secured collaboration discipline.
Coming to the next role, which is Engineering IP Integration Manager, XXH. Just as a gentle reminder, this particular role is available only on cloud, and it includes the app, which is Enterprise IP Integration. Let's see what is the enhancement in this release. So now you can export bulk data to improve the productivity by exporting huge amounts of data at the same time. What it enables is you can now have the automated integration flow to exchange the data, basically to export the data from 3D Experience platform to the external enterprise systems. Of course, this will be facilitated through the iPaaS connectors and the gateways, but now it is possible that irrespective of any size of data, even if it is hefty sized data, you can export it from the 3D Experience platform to the external systems.
Let's move now to the enhancements of the discipline configured product development. So let's review the new enhancements in the product release engineer. Here we have enhanced the document management capabilities which are engaged or available from within the widget of engineering release management. So basically there is now a new attribute which is called isLastRevision, which is available directly from within the widget, which will let you know if the document has the latest revision displayed here, or if you probably want to replace it by another revision or another latest revision. So it gives you indication if this is the most up-to-date revision of the document or not. So this is very helpful in order to improve the management capabilities that we have in this widget. We can also directly update and edit the documents from within the widget. So this could be a document that is attached as a specification, so it is visible directly from within the widget, or it could be an attachment which is available from the panel of the engineering item, and that will be an attached document. So it's not specification, but it's also possible to update this document directly from within this panel. So from these documents, we can also replace again by latest revision, or we can replace by a very specific revision, or we can simply do that from any of these panels. So let's take a look. Let's see how it works. So you can see here, this is the new attribute, isLastRevision. I want to update this document to pick up the latest, so I replace it by the latest revision. And now the system automatically has updated this document with the latest revision. And we see this signed as it is the latest one. So now I can open it directly from this widget into the document management application. I can review it. I can do all kind of capabilities here. And I can also, if I want, I can directly edit this document from the widget here by going to the edit, which will download the document locally for me. And at this moment, I will be able to modify the content, make some updates, whatever is needed. And this will be first saved locally, because I have to save this first of all. And once I finish my updates, then I can save this back to the platform. So once this is completed, then I can save it. So this will be saved locally somewhere on my hard disk, for example. And now I want to capture these updates and update them directly into the platform. So I simply go to the update and I pick up this revision of the document. I can type any comment here to make it clear what are the changes that have been updated. And from this moment, those updates are also captured in the platform. So if you go to the right side panel, we can see the attachment of the document. So this is a document which is attached to the engineering item. This is not a specification, and I can replace it here. So I can replace it by a specific revision, which will open for me the revision explorer, and I can pick up another revision, for example, revision 1, and I'm going to replace this document revision by another revision of the same document, and I can see this content now up to date in in this panel. We have also enhanced the export tool, so there is a new simplified experience. In the previous user experience, we had the list of all the attributes which were directly presented, but sometimes we don't need that. So we have put all these attributes under a new setting, which is called Customize Columns. So this is a new setting which will allow you to pick up and select the attributes you want to be exported. So there is some enhancements in terms of the visual user experience. Notice also that the core material column is by default not selected. User has to explicitly do that to select it in order to export it. Some content is not going to be exported. For example, the covering material applied on the instance will not be available for the export. So let's see an example of this. So I have here this engineering definition which I want to export. I go to the export tool, and you can see here we have minimum information, so you can make the basic decisions here. But if you want to select the attributes, then you go to the customize columns. You can make a multi-selection or a specific attribute selection one by one, for example. And then you can apply this specific setting directly into the export tool. So only these attributes that have been selected here will be exported. So now I hit export, and the content will be exported into a CSV file, which is the file that contains the recent content which we have in the widget. We have also enhanced the way we can manage the core material consumption in the engineering definition. So we're talking about now managing not only volume, but also managing mass core material. So let's start by explaining the preferences. So we have two definitions now in the widget, in the preferences of the widget, which will give you the ability to define your own preferred units, whether it's a mass unit or a volume unit. So you define these preferences in the widget per your needs. And after that, we have the ability to define the core material as before. Now, the first thing to notice is that we have modified now the name. So the command name is not anymore a new volume of material, because now we support both mass and volume. So the name of the command has changed to be new quantity of material. Once you select this option or this command, then you have the ability to define whether you are selecting the volume, you're going to define a volume, or the mass of the core material that has been selected. Another thing is that we have also enhanced the list of available units for the volume. So you can see much longer list, which gives you much more choice to define which volume you are interested in. In any case, once we make this definition, then in the widget, we have now two columns, which is the mass and the volume. And the content which will appear here will appear with your own preferred units that have been defined in the widget as a preference. Let's see an example of this. So I have here my engineering definition. Let's first look at the preference. We see that there are two attributes now. One is called preferred unit, which has the list of the units you can select from for the mass, and another one for the volume. Okay, so now let's say we want to define a new quantity of material. So it's not, as I said, it's not anymore just a volume. It's a quantity which I want to consume from existing core material. So we have the list of core material, and I select the steel, for example, as a core material. And I want to say, okay, this is going to be a definition of a volume. So I have the list of units which I can select from, and I can define a value for that specific volume of this core material. And this value will immediately appear in the widget. I do the same thing again, and I select this time a different unit. But it's okay, because the system will simply translate this to the unit which is of my preference, and it will calculate the quantity according to this preference. So I'm going to select here a different unit. You will see, again, it's always a volume unit, but it's different than the previous selection. I'm just going to put any number here. And now we see that another line has been added here as a core material. And we can see that I have also the ability to define another type of quantity of a core material, and this time it's going to be a mass. It's not going to be a volume, it's going to be a mass. I'm selecting here the mass option, and I'm picking up just any unit, and I add a volume or the value here. And again, the system will show me the mass in my own unit, which was kilograms. Now, if I move to a preference, the reference view, you will see each one of these quantities in a single line showing the total quantity with, again, the preferred unit that has been defined in the preference. There are some new interesting enhancements in Product Manager. So let's review these enhancements in this release. Let's start first by the ability to associate a project task to a model version. So now from within the model version, you can associate a project task directly into the model version, which will allow you to describe what will be the project that corresponds and will contribute to a specific model version. And this will allow you to track all these activities which are required to define, to validate, and to release that specific model version, again, through the task attachment to a model revision. Manufacturing plan now can be defined as part of the definition of the model version. So you can see here there is a new tab that is called Manufacturing Plan or Manufacturing Plans. And here we define all these manufacturing plans, which will be, let's say, the configuration criteria in the manufacturing bill of material. So these plans can be defined as the effectivity within the manufacturing definition in order to make decisions how we are going to manufacture our manufactured items based on these manufacturing plans. So these plans can be evolved through the revision management. They can have also derivations and so on. There is also a possibility to move these manufacturing plans to a different collaborative space or to change their ownership. For example, if we want to make decisions where my manufacturing definition will be manufactured, in which organization, for example, or through the definition of collaborative spaces. We have added also a visualization in 3D to the product configuration. That means that I can improve the visibility of the product configuration by simply activating the 3D behind this selected variants and their values. So now you can visualize in real time the product configuration in 3D, which gives you a special experience on that specific product configuration, which will give you more, let's say, it allows you to improve your decisions on how the product configuration looks like. So I might need to modify probably some of the values of this, of some of the variants of this product configuration. So I have a visual 3D that I can activate whenever I want to have a better visualization of the content. So let's see an example. Here we have a product manager, and the product manager is looking at this experience at the product configuration. And now from a specific, I want to activate the 3D of this specific configuration. So you can see here within the 3D viewer, I can simply take a look at the 3D behind this product configuration. I can also change, for example, the value of the spoiler, and then it will show me a different 3D because this is the one that applies to that specific product configuration. So it makes it really much more visible when it comes to the 3D. It gives you much more improved experience, let's say, of the product configuration process.
Within the 3D product architect, we have a new find in context command. This replaces the previous find command, which simply located a string or strings in the file that matched the search criteria. This now gives us a much clearer perspective of where the information is located in the structure of the tree. Let's take a closer look at this command. As mentioned, we can find items using a string and search in the context of the engineering definition itself. This allows us a clear understanding of which instance or instance of the engineering item we have found. We can look through the prior searches and the pull-down list which appears when we begin a new search and reuse them. And once we've located these, we can look through the results of the edit for editing or for subsequent operations. Within the Collaborative Designer for Altium, we now have the ability to bring in and display the enterprise item number into the Altium application. This, of course, assumes that the enterprise item number attribute is being defined in advance within the Collaborative Space Configuration Center. Let's take a closer look at this. As mentioned, we can now set enterprise item numbers automatically to map to electronic component attributes. Automatically assigning item numbers to electronic components ensures numbering standards are adhered to during the design development. Components that are affected by the item number change can be seen within the item manager. We can then group the affected properties to quickly validate the updates. The affected properties of the components can also be validated directly within the Altium session. For the Collaborative Designer for Inventor, we now have the ability to control the expansion level on refresh of the My Session window. Users can set a parameter, My Session expand level, to a specific integer value to expand and control it regardless of what is in the tree on each refresh cycle. This reduces the time to get the refresh of the tree when you're working with large assemblies. Let's take a closer look at this enhancement. As mentioned, you can set the expansion of the My Session tree on an open to improve performance. If we set the value initially to 0 and refresh the tree, the system will only display the root of the tree. Set the value to any other number to expand the tree to that specific value. Note that a value of -1 is the default and expands the complete tree. For Collaborative Designer for Cadence Allegro, we introduced the same functionality we saw earlier for the Altium solution in that we can bring in and display enterprise item numbers into the Cadence environment. This assumes, as before, that the enterprise item number has been defined in the Collaborative Space Configuration Center. It should be noted that in Cadence, as in the Altium, this is not a bidirectional function and the information is only pushed from the platform to the ECAD application. Let's take a closer look at that within the integration. Here we can see once again that we set the enterprise item numbers to automatically map to a component, reducing user input. We can then reload the electronic components from 3D Experience to update their parameters. We can then validate the values by reviewing the associated properties for one of the components. Within the Collaborative Designer for CATIA V5, we have two key new enhancements. The first deals with 3D XML exchange. The primary intent of this enhancement is to support the import of data into the 3D Experience platform while keeping authoring in the initial CAD application. The target scenario here is where you may have an OEM and a supplier both on their own independent 3D Experience platforms using CATIA V5 among their CAD solutions, and they want to freely exchange data and update information from one system to the other in a bidirectional fashion. This type of enhancement will afford that capability. It should be noted here, however, that 3D XML data with authoring files generated in the current release, 21x FD06, cannot be imported on lower FDs. The second enhancement deals with catalogs that have supporting documents. In this release, when you save a catalog and there are supporting documents linked to it, those documents will now automatically be captured and those links maintained with that catalog.
The next role is Connected Software Engineer, XSF. And there is Connected Software App included in this role, using which you can create logical as well as physical software items and connect them with the external SCM repositories. Let's see what's the new enhancement in this role. Now you can reveal all the list of repositories, branches, as well as the tags and connect them with the software items. In this way, you can enhance the productivity and reduce the errors which you might commit during while you are setting up the SCM system for your software items. Basically, when you are trying to connect the software item with external SCM system, you get a field to enter the item address. Now you get the available list of addresses, which could be the branches or even tags, and you can select any one of them immediately. Moreover, it also supports the type ahead functionalities. If you have observed in the Google search, if you start searching, it already gives you intelligent suggestions in the drop-down. In the similar way, when you start typing the item address, for example, it could be the branch or the tag name, the system will give you the filtered list of available branches or tags, and out of which you can select one. Let's see the enhancement in a video. So we have this connected software app, where let me show you by creating a new repository first. We can create the repository for the BME software code repository, and let us say that the type of the repository is the Git repository. So let's click on OK, and the repository is created. We can see that it is already available inside the app. We can launch the information panel to see more details about this repository. Going back to home, let's try to create a new software item. Let's say it is any software logical item for that matter. It could be the BME software code for us. And let us create this logical software item. And what we are going to do is attaching the repositories or branches to this particular software item. So here comes the new enhancements now, that when you open the software item, the properties, in the repositories panel, when you try to edit it and connect it to the repositories, you already have the list of repositories in the drop-down. You can select any one of them, and in the item address also you get the list of available addresses, and in the version address you can set either branch or the tag for that matter. And it is so quick that you are easily able to set up the SCM system and you're ready to go. So in this way, if you open the software item, now you can see the content of the software item and the code inside the software connected software app. That's all about this enhancement. Let's see the next role, which is logical product architect, SAX. This is comparatively new role. It was introduced in previous releases, and the app it holds is the logical product definition. As you might know already, that it is used to build the entire logical architecture for during the product development phase. Let's see what's the enhancement in this role. Well, this is cool that you can now create implementation links with the RFLP assets. So this will ultimately improve your productivity by allowing you to create these implementation links from the web app. There are two types of implementation links. Either it could be a reference link or occurrence link. The first type of link can be created using the command create reference implement link, which is available in the contextual menu on the logical reference, and you will be able to link two logical references. Similarly, the second type of link, which is the occurrence link, can be created again from the contextual menu, and here it becomes more powerful because you have this beautiful matrix view, where on the left hand side you can see one logical reference, and on the right hand side another logical reference in the form of a table, and you can simply click on any cell, any respective cell, and that will create an implementation link between those particular objects in the crossing in the horizontal and vertical columns. Let's see this enhancement in a short video. So what you see on your screen right now is the electrical schematic representation for the logical reference in CATIA. Let's come back to the web app. Now here you can see there is create reflink command available in the contextual menu. I click on it and the system searches for the available logical references. I can select any one of them, and now I have created this implementation link between the two references, and it is already listed there. Now I can create the occurrence link. So here I can see already there is a beautiful matrix visualization and there are different cells. What I can do is I would like to filter this matrix and show only the equipment and logical references. So the visualization is more clear now. I can select any number of cells and the occurrence link will be created. I can even further filter this matrix by using textual search. I just click on apply and I have filtered it. I click on the cell and the implementation link is created. So I can already see these two implementation links are created inside the structure. So in this way, it is intuitive and very powerful tool to create all the implementation links between the logical references inside the web app.
Let's review now the two new roles which have been introduced in this release under the discipline component sourcing and standardization. Let's introduce now these two new roles around the sourcing management in the platform. So we'll start with component request engineer, XCR. This role has a single widget which is called component request management. And this role basically will ensure the compliance of the organizational policies and strategies when it comes to the component request process. So with this role, we provide centralized request management for components, for new components, which are applying or which apply to the strategies of the company, and they have approval process that ensures this compliancy of the company processes. Another role which is introduced in this release is the supplier item manager, XSP. This role has two applications or two widgets, the component request administration and the supplier item qualification. By the way, these two roles are available both on cloud and on premise. And the supplier item manager has a target to streamline the external component introduction, approval, and qualification processes. Now let's see how these two roles would work together. So we have a design engineer, which will be the component request engineer. This user will create a new component request, as we can see here, to express the need for a new sourced component. This component will be attached to existing engineering items, so it is possible to define the manufacturer part number and all the sourcing information. And this request is now submitted for the supplier item manager. So this user in the organization will review this request that has been submitted. He can promote it to make it under review. And here we can see this approval process, which will allow us eventually to qualify this request. So at the same time, this user will create a new manufacturer equivalent item in order to represent which item we are going to manufacture from the external manufacturer. And again, through this workflow approval process, we are qualifying this request and we are ensuring that this applies to the company processes and the company policies and strategies. So once this is approved, then I can finally review the information according to the specific engineering item using my engineering assembly. And I can see here for my engineering assembly what are the manufacturer equivalent items and what are their maturity state, from which manufacturer they will be supplied probably, and what is the manufacturer part number. I'd like to thank every one of you for attending this new enhancement session of 21x FD06. I'd like to thank the ENOVIA portfolio team that worked on presenting these enhancements and building these videos. I hope it was beneficial for all of you guys, and I hope to see you again in the next session with new enhancements of 21x FD07. Thank you.
Matthew, you are on mute.
Matthew, you are on mute.
Oh, sorry, live webinars always get me. So hi everyone, we hope you enjoyed the presentation. I thought it was very informative and riveting, so hope you felt the same. We just want to give you a moment now to ask any questions you may have. Again, if you look in the description below of this video, there's a link to the ENOVIA user community and to a specific post, which is this live webinar, What's New, ENOVIA FD06. We just want you to put your question in the comment section on the right-hand side. And if you do that, we will attempt to answer your questions live here. And don't worry if you think of your question down the road, please add it to this post and we will be responding within the post. So check back to the community for the latest updates on that. We will also make this presentation available on demand, so you can binge watch it again and again and again. So yeah, we're just checking right now live, giving you a few moments to see if you have questions. I'll refresh the page a couple times. Don't see anything yet. The team is standing by. We'll give you a couple moments. And then again, if we don't see any questions now, we will keep checking back throughout the day and we will add our responses and answers. Oh, we got a comment. Just see, it just came in. Let me do a refresh here. Okay, very condensed. Maybe you could put the page marks in YouTube. I'm not sure what that means exactly. Maybe you're asking if we could put page marks. I don't know. Do you guys have any idea what this question is? It says very condensed info. Maybe you could put page marks in YouTube.
Yeah, in fact, he's asking for making the sections of the YouTube video and giving the links in the description to go to particular role of their choice.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes. Yeah. You're addressing a lot of roles. Okay. We could probably, guys, maybe we could do that within the post or make some separate posts in the community for this. Do you think that'd be helpful? Like Naeem or Amal?
Yeah, it's one of the ways. The idea is, I don't know technically how this will be done, but the idea is once I get to the whole, recording, I want to jump directly into a specific role, for example. So either in the community or directly in the recording itself. But the idea is really to enable people to go to a specific role they are interested in, so they don't have to wait until the end.
Wait through the whole video.
Yeah. Right.
So
that's a reasonable request.
Yeah.
This is actually a shorter one too. Or some of our what's new are much longer. So I see his point.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I see a question about DPM. Let me read it. It says, can you share plans on by when the DPM project manager role will be available in dashboard, such that project creation is no more limited to 3D space?
I don't know for such plans, so we can check, but as far as I know, no current plans. So we'll check and get back with a precise answer, but for the moment, no plans
Yep.
as far as I know.
Yep. Thank you,
Matthew.
Andreas, for the question. Well, yeah, if we have any more details, we'll add it in the comment section there, Andreas. Thank you.
Matthew, did you comment on the fact that people can subscribe so they're notified if there's answers in the community? I don't know if you mentioned that. Subscribe to it so they know that they'll get responses.
Oh, right. So yeah, if anyone's interested in subscribing, there's a little down arrow on the right-hand side, so you can bookmark this page and add to your bookmarks. You can also subscribe to it, so you'll be kept abreast as we add to this post. So this is kind of a living document here where you can watch the replay and also see questions and answers. And I think we might have had another question come in. Oh, maybe not.
No.
Okay. Well, I think we're okay to close out the webinar for now. And again, just keep adding your questions here, and the team is actively looking and responding. Naeem, you want to give us a send-off?
No, I'd like, that's it. I just want to repeat exactly what you just said. So we are here, guys, for you. Just keep asking your questions in the community. We will collect, we will review the questions, we'll come back to you with answers. This will be the way to communicate with us on the content of this release. And just be free, to ask, to check any question either on this content or on future plans, such as this question that we have seen right now about the DPM. And if not, we will see you again in the next webinar for 21x FD07.
All right. Thank you.
So thank you all, guys.
Bye,
Have a good
everyone.
day.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.